Whoa, this deck gives me chills for all the right reasons. I absolutely love it. Hey up my ducks, it's Simon. Well, back again. This is the week that keeps on giving. I had this delivered to work and I almost didn't know. I was just leaving tonight and I thought I'll check the mailbox just to see if there's any general mail, and there was this. And I'd almost forgotten that I had ordered this deck. But I'm quite excited about it, but at the same time a little bit apprehensive, and I'll explain why. But firstly, I really do need to blame our friend Chris from Elemental Cartomancy, because I've just worked out that this is the 4th deck this year. We're only in February that he's kind of influenced me, enabled me to buy it. Oh, it's rose petal finish. Just like the rose petal cards you sometimes get. Wow, beautiful box. Now, yeah, I mean, the first one I think was Phantom Wise, then Diablo, and then the I Ching deck. And then he showed this, not on our joint live that we did together, but just I think on his channel. And I'd seen this for about a year, and it never really appealed to me, because it just felt a little bit gimmicky, you know, this kind of coffin. It reminded me of one of the limited editions of the Santa Muerte Tarot. And whilst it's pretty cool looking, you know, it's not going to sit stack on a shelf. So I was kind of like, I think it's just another gimmicky tarot. But how wrong I was. And I think there's a little... So as you open the lid now, you get this... which is pretty cool, right? But gimmicky as well. But I do have to say, the presentation of this box with this rose petal finish and the gold metallic embossing it's stunning. Even on the sides, they haven't skimped at all the way around. The design of this box is gorgeous. So when I saw Chris do a walkthrough or read with the cards, I can't remember which it was now, it was a couple of weeks ago, I tried to get it on Amazon and I couldn't. So I tried on Book Depository, and it was there one day, so I thought, right, as soon as payday comes, I'll order it. It was gone. And then I got it through a third-party seller, which is always a gamble, on Amazon, and it's taken about a week to 10 days, I think, to get here, which isn't too bad, really. I ordered it on the 25th, and we're on the 2nd of February. Sorry, my mind's going blank. I'm trying to think of all the things I want to say. So the reason why I'm excited and also apprehensive, I'm excited because the art style of these cards is fantastic. I love it. It's quite minimal. It's really stripped back. Some cards are black, some cards are white, a bit like the design here on the box. But what I'm apprehensive about, let's just take the cards out a second. I'm surprised there isn't an inner box, beautiful gilding. What I'm apprehensive about is I do have a little bit of a pet peeve when it comes to book is also rose petal. The cards aren't. The cards are matte. I was surprised, actually, because if the book is rose petal and the box is rose petal, then I'm surprised the cards aren't. But anyway, that would really up the value, I suppose. And this wasn't that expensive, about £25, I think. Yeah, so one of my pet peeves is changing of things like courts and suits. Now, that isn't a hard and fast rule. You know, to me, it has to make sense. So I have no problem with the suits changing to like the elements, for example, because that's how my brain works anyway. If I see wands, my brain automatically thinks fire. So if it's the 2 of fire, 3 of fire, 4 of fire, I have no issues at all. But when it tries to fit a theme and you get things like 4 of quills, or, you know, and my brain's got to work out, well, what's that then? 6 of spirals. I really, it just irks me. They haven't done that with this, but what they have changed is the courts. And I thought it could still be a sticking block for me. I don't mind, again, you know, mother of earth, father of earth instead of the king and queen. I mean, court cards maybe a little bit outdated now with pages and our knights and that sort of thing. So when they're often done as a kind of a family unit, I don't seem to have a problem with that. Similarly, you know, I don't mind some of the majors changing, you know, from the Hierophant to the High Priest, because basically that's what Hierophant means, right? Or the Hanged One, or the Hanged instead of Hanged Man, transition for death, as long as it kind of makes sense. I just don't like it when tarot creators just change everything and it becomes like you've almost got to learn a new system. Anyway, try not to ramble. On the back, it says, are you ready to embrace everything that lives in the shadows? Step into the darkness and release your fears. A 78 card tarot deck that calls you to turn away from the light and explore your own shadow. It's by Rockpool Publishing, and they've done a fantastic job, haven't they? While following the traditional tarot structures, this deck takes a look at darker sides and implores you to embrace all the spooky things that lurk in the dark. Be warned, this deck is not for the light-hearted or weak-spirited. And you can see kind of what I mean about the kind of stripped back, simple images. And I really like that, particularly with oracles, but I'm also quite enjoying them with tarot decks as well. So in terms of presentation, I love the fact that it's rose petal. It has a gorgeous feel. I'd imagine that can become quite annoying over time. But yeah, it's nice. It's okay. So we get this little book also, as I mentioned, in rose petal. Nice glossy pages. We get just we get the title. So see what I mean here, look. Okay, so case in point, we have bones, right? But then, and I can live with 9 of bones, 10 of bones, but then we get terror of bones, nightmare of bones, haunting of bones, and massacre of bones. Now I'm going to struggle to relay that to the courts. I mean, what's the difference between a terror and a nightmare, or a haunting and a massacre? You know, well, there's a big difference between a haunting and a massacre, but you take my point. Then we have daggers, which I'm assuming is swords. I'm assuming bones is wands. It could be earth. Fire. 5 of crystals, I'm imagining, is earth, because crystals come from the earth. And then we've got cups. So they changed 3 out of the 4 in terms of the traditional suits. Doesn't look like we've got death, temperance, devil, justice, the hanged. So we've got the hanged rather than the hanged man, which is absolutely fine. Hermit, yeah, I mean, everything else. The guide for the Hierophant, okay, I can cope with that and live with that. The rigid, the ethereal, and then the magician, the divine for the high priestess, and we have our fall. I wonder if it says in here about, it talks about Jungian philosophy, which you would imagine for a shadow deck, that it's going to give you the origins of where the concept of the shadow comes from Carl Jung. Just seeing if it says anything about... So it tells you here the changes. The page is terror, the knight is nightmare, the queen is haunting, and the king is massacre. But if I pull the the haunting of bones. I've got to think, right, the haunting of bones, that's the queen, right? And, you know, has the creator, I mean, they've told us the breakdown for the courts, but have they gone through? So it says here, although the Macabre Tarot was designed with the traditional 78 structure in mind, some changes have been made, most noticeable being the removal of the restrictive gender binary. That's fine. All gendered cards have been removed. That's why we've got the Hanged rather than the Hanged Man. And, you know, we don't have the High Priestess and the Emperor and Empress. However, they do retain their original meanings. The titled majors are noted and the courts have been renamed as follows. But I want to know what the minors are. But I can't see it unless when we get to the minors, which will be here, the minor arcana. So, okay, the minor arcana is traditionally broken up into 4 suits. The Macabre Tarot, some of those suits have been given new names. Wands have become bones. Okay, swords have become daggers. Pentacles have become crystals. I can make the association. Crystals, you know, they're formed in extreme temperatures in the earth. So I see that as a very earthy, crystals are very earthy anyway. Daggers, you know, they've got blades to them. So swords, bones could look like a wand. And then cups is still cups. They remain the same as they are eternal. Each suit explores a theme and has an associated element. Bones is the suit of fire, explores your passions and drives. Daggers, the suit of air, explores your mental state. Crystals, the suit of earth, explores your worldly possessions and finances. Cups, the suit of water, explores your emotions and deepest feelings. Each suit takes you through a cycle from aces, which represent new beginnings, to tens, the completion of the cycle. The court cards can represent people or spirits in your midst. Okay, so, I mean, there's a little bit about how to use the cards in introduction, and then you've got spreads, but then it does go through and gives you the meaning for the changes. And then there's a little bit at the back about the author. And it's Samantha Rook, artist, designer, and tarot deck creator, and owner of Marble Moon Studio. I have to check that out, Marble Moon Studio. So, nice little book. I probably will use it initially, particularly for reading about the courts, or until I've got my head around that. So let's take the paper band off. Ooh. I mean, the gilded, you know, more and more, there is a little scuff there, nothing major, but it's where the band has gone. So that happens a few times, but hopefully that won't get any worse. Cardstock, it's a little thin, but it's nice cardstock, you know, it's matte, beautiful matte. These are the backs, which are really nice. Fully reversible, as you can see. But do you see what I mean by the images? They're really, really cool images. I think it's going to shuffle beautifully. I'm not going to shuffle it now because, so every so often there are black cards as well. Yeah, all right. So nice gilding, nice backs, normal sized tarot cards. Rockpool, I think, yeah, pretty much the same as MPC, which is the same as US Games. So a standard tarot size. I'm going to bring the camera down. I'll do a flip through and then I'll come back at the end and just share my overall thoughts with you all.
Simon.
Whoa. This deck gives me chills for all the right reasons. I absolutely love it. Wow. Where do I start? I mean, as I've already mentioned, I love the imagery of this deck. I mean, look at this for the magician. You know, I often think of a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat, but and it's very different in its design from card to card. I love these kind of ethereal type figures that we see here. I mean, look at that for a lover's card. Reminds me of something like you'd see during the opening sequence of American Horror Story or something. Chariot is brilliant. I just love this deck. There's lots of like little imps throughout the deck as well. See if I can find them. I mean, that is an amazing devil card. Even love this tower card. It's very top heavy. The sun and the moon. Wow. I love how polar opposite they are. So well done. Look at the judgment, that kind of melting. I'm going to love this. And I said the cardstock was quite thin, didn't I? But the more I've handled the deck, the less thin it feels, which is bizarre. Love the Nine of Bones. I just love everything about it. The only thing, you know, as I mentioned, Nightmare, Haunting, Massacre, and what was the other one? Terror. It's going to take me a while to associate them to court cards. I mean, why is the King associated with Massacre? And I get they're not King because this is a genderless deck, but still I'm thinking of that, the energy that archetype would bring. I love this. But yeah, let me see if I can, there's these kind of little impish creatures that appear. I mean, look at that. Clown. Who doesn't love a scary clown within a tarot deck? Many people be like, me. Yeah, look, this, and it's very RWS. So, you know, once you know that 4 of Crystals, 4 of Pentacles, it's, you know, you can, some more than others, but you can easily make that link across if you've got kind of, you know, good underpinning knowledge of RWS. Love this image. It's almost like lots of different artists have collaborated on this deck. Look at that. There's again another kind of impish character. There's some here, look. Love this image. I'm gonna absolutely love working with this. I love this as well, the Nightmare of Cups. It's got kind of this void where his eyes would be, then there's this eye here. It's had the cup that it's crawling out of. It's so macabre. It's really interesting. See how it shuffles like a dream, even though I'm a terrible shuffler. But really shuffles nicely. Gorgeous cardstock. I need to get an appropriate bag to put this in. I don't want to have it in the creaky box. So I just want to see whether the book kind of sets the scene. So what have we got? We've got 3 of Bones. So let's have a look in the book. 3 of Bones. Okay, so 3 of Bones. Might need me a little okay, got it. So the upright is growth, expansion, and the reversed would be, if it was in reverse, stalling, obstacles. Growth is imminent. You are a monster growing in all directions at all times. You've made all the right plans and are ready to conquer your enemies and goals. Prepare yourself for unexpected growth and opportunities, as you shouldn't hold back when something new presents itself. I just wondered sometimes if I was wondering if they kind of described what was happening in some of the scenes, but it's more of a giving you the kind of interpretation, which is fine. But yeah, I'm gonna really enjoy working with this deck. Really enjoy working with it. I just know. Do you have this deck? Is it one that you could work with? I know sometimes people are really put off by Macabre. When I've shown the Ritual Abuse Tarot, people have been like, oh no, you know, how can you work with that? This one is, it really intrigues me. There's something about it. I just feel a connection with it. It's going to be a great deck to work with. Let me know your thoughts as well in the comments below, how you feel about the retitling of courts, major cards, and when suits are changed to kind of connect with the elemental. Like I said, I don't mind fire, earth, water, air, etc. But I'd be interested in your take, how you find it, whether it's something that you find a little bit off-putting or something you quickly adapt to. Thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, look after yourselves, go in peace, namaste, and blessed be.